Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome into a Sunday night edition of the Halos in the Infield Anaheim Ducks post-game show with yours truly, Dominic Lorenz of Catella Chronicles. And boy, oh boy, what a night once again to be an Anaheim Ducks fan as the Ducks absolutely maul the Chicago Blackhawks at Honda Center tonight to wrap up the three-game homestand by the final of 7-1. So many stats to go on through this ball game as the Ducks put over 50 shots on the Chicago Blackhawks, one of the first times that they've done that since 2014. Leo Carlsson does damage once again, becomes the second Anaheim Duck in a single season, first 29 games start to a season in overall points underneath Paul Karier, which happened in the 90s. Then you also tack on the fact that the Ducks are still in first place in the Pacific Division, and so much more foundational blocks that were built into this game. Points from everybody, assists, goals, you name it. Villahuso in net looked great. So a lot of positives to talk about this game here tonight in a 7-1 thrashing over the Chicago Blackhawks, which was, as Jesus would say, pure dominance. Absolutely, I will agree with you on that one. And let's think about it this way. The Ducks in the first two games against the Chicago Blackhawks this year was virtually first game, a 2-1 loss in overtime. Tough game for the Ducks. Oh, well. Last Sunday, after getting out to a huge lead, blowing it, and not looking pretty and just being frustrated with the lack of discipline. This time around, 1 week later, they had everything in their back pocket, and they just threw it out and just mauled Chicago. And this is after the Blackhawks got shut out at Staples Center last night to the LA Kings 6-0. So the Ducks and the Kings combined outscore the Chicago Blackhawks 13-1 in a 24-hour stretch. So incredible from the Anaheim Ducks tonight to feed off that energy and take advantage of a tired, slow Chicago Blackhawks team who were at the end of a long West Coast road trip. So you do what you need to do to get the job done. Jesus checking on in already again, saying Seneca should be in the lead for the Calder nomination. Absolutely. We'll dive into that on the show, as well as Seneca leading all rookies in the NHL in points. Demetrio, great friend of the show, checks in saying Blackhawks, aided a long way tonight. Really love Mason's game tonight. He was involved. He was active on the forecheck and just played well. Absolutely. Mason McTavish looked really good tonight. And you look again, top to bottom for the Anaheim Ducks. I feel everybody played a really, really solid game. And the only blemish in this one was a weird puck that flicked off the stick of Husso through his 5-hole and was the only goal of the night for the Chicago Blackhawks. So if that's the only blemish in a game for Anaheim, when you score 7 goals for the 5th time this season, yes, the Ducks continue to score goals at a hot rate. Boy, oh boy, it is absolute fun times here for the Anaheim Ducks. Saucy James, cheers to you, brother. How you doing here on a Sunday? Everybody checking on in as the Ducks get a massive win tonight, 7-1 against the Chicago Blackhawks. Let us waste zero time, and let's get into the scoring for this game as the Ducks ramp up. 53 shots on goal, the highest mark in a single game for the Anaheim Ducks since 2014. They outshoot Chicago 53-20, outshooting them 17-6 in the first, 27-7 in the second, and 9-7 in the third. A great night, and that is definitely a round of applause for the Anaheim Ducks. They are just peppering the Chicago Blackhawks defense, peppering the netminder, and no doubt about it, getting the job done. And when you create opportunities, crash the net, high-quality opportunities as well, you're going to find ways to win hockey games. And in a game that you definitely, as I said on Friday, after the win against the Washington Capitals, I said Sunday is a must-win game against the Chicago Blackhawks, especially going 0-1-1 in your first two games, and in the manner in which you lost last Sunday, a game like this, before leaving on that massive 5-game Metropolitan East Coast road trip starting Tuesday in Pittsburgh, the Ducks needed this, no questions asked. And boy, oh boy, the Ducks delivered once again. It was amazing. Amazing kind of night for the Anaheim Ducks. So let's go on into it, and let's get to the scoring for our Anaheim Ducks. It was blissful. It was amazing. Let's get into it. It starts off early with, to me, one of the best defensemen on this roster from start to finish. Well, I don't want to say finish, but through this point of the season, Jacob Trouba launching his 5th goal of the season, unassisted, 1-0 Anaheim Ducks. The horn gets sounded early and often at Honda Center, as after 1-0 after the first, the Ducks thrash. I'm going to keep using that word tonight in the title. Ducks beat up Blackhawks in Sunday Night Showdown. Beat up, thrashed, mauled, dominated, unequivocally kicked their ass. Absolutely. Those are the ways you can describe this game tonight. And they continued it with a 4-goal performance in the second period. And it all led off on the power play. Mason McTavish knocking in his 7th of the year. Beckett Seneca and Cutter Gauthier with the assists, 15th and 16th respectively. 2-0 And that's it again. He might not have hair on his balls quite yet, but the line of Seneca with Gauthier is working to perfection. Seneca, his 9th goal of the season. Gautier's 17th assist. Radko Gudas gets on the stat sheet with his 5th assist of the year. 3-0 Ducks. And then the old man line, Killorn, Strome, Minchikov, they combined for the 4th goal of the night as Killorn, even through a hooking call and on a little breakaway, little chip pass from Strome, Killorn puts it in the top shelf for his 2nd of the season. 4-0 Ducks. And then well, no doubt about it. This is for Seneca. Yes. On all cylinders tonight. And it was capped off at the end of the second period by the one, the only, Uncle Leo Carlson's 15th of the year. He continues to find the stat sheet and is 2nd in Ducks history for a single season start points. Paul Kariya has the most points through a 29-game stretch back in the 90s. Carlson just 1 point off of that mark through 29 games. Leo's 15th of the year. Kreider's 7th assist. Troy Terry's 23rd. And it was bliss after that, because less than 20 seconds, 15 to be exact, into the third period on a power play. Uncle Leo does it again. Boy, he was fun to watch. He gets his 16th of the season. Kreider and Lacombe get assist on that one. As mentioned before, Chicago gets a little weird little tipping off the stick of Villahuso. Goal gets credited to Bertuzzi. But Frankie Vetrano, even though the Ducks knew they were going to win this one easily, 6-1, they still pressed. They still played. They wanted a full 60 minutes of hockey, and they continue to get that. And even though it's been a tough season for this savvy veteran, he gets his 3rd of the year, 7th assist from Zellweger, 4th assist from Strome. It's big bad. They peppered all night long, and they got the job done. A lot of scoring, and I love every single minute of it, because when you drop into the box score, we already talked about the shots on goal, and if you look at it from a Ducks perspective, Strome, Killorn, Terry, Kreider, McTavish, Seneca, Gauthier, Vetrano, Carlson, 9 forwards had at least 1 point tonight. Then all but 1 defenseman had at least a point tonight. So when you tally that up together, 14 different Anaheim Ducks got on the stat sheet with at least 1 point in tonight's game. That is what you call an all-out blitz on another team, and you get the job done very well tonight. Villahuso, 19 saves in 20 shots, a .950 save percentage. Again, a 1 goal allowed on a weird stick ricochet off his own stick through his 5-hole. The Ducks have this game won, so even though it was tough not to see a shutout in this game for Husso, he is stepping up immensely with Dostal and Mrazek out. I would say Dostal's probably at least another week away, Mrazek at least 2. So this one right now, especially this upcoming East Coast road trip, this is Ville Husso's team, and he'll probably be in net Tuesday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. With all that goal scoring, with the 7-1 win, with the pure dominance of this game tonight, who's going to be our 3 stars of the night? Three stars of the game brought to you by us here at the Halos in the Infield Anaheim Ducks post-game show. Dominic Lorenz of Coachella Chronicles here with you tonight. Todd will be back during the week, getting back from a work trip out of state, so trying to recover over the weekend. So filling in, or I want to say filling in, but doing the show solo right now, which is A-okay. Glad to have you guys along watching with us on X, Instagram, YouTube, all the places. And if you're not watching it live, that's A-okay. The video's right after we're posted on YouTube, so watch on YouTube if you miss a post-game show. But cheers for everybody watching along. And Saucy James saying, this team is completely resurgent. Think they can maintain this tempo? Well, I'll give credit to Coach Quenneville and the whole team from top to bottom. They've done it now the first 2.5 months of the season, and it's been more than a month now that the Ducks have been consistently in first place in a very, very competitive Pacific Division with Vegas and the Kings right on our heels over the last couple of weeks. And then the 4th place spot has been kind of interchangeable. You've had Edmonton, you've had the Kraken, you've had San Jose. So again, top to bottom, the NHL, the worst team in the league right now, is the Nashville Predators at 24 points. And with this win tonight, the Ducks have 37 points tonight. So the Ducks, who are a top 5 team in the NHL, there is only a 13-point separation between the Ducks and the worst team in the league. That's a 6.5 game difference. So to me, there's been a lot of parity in the NHL this year, a lot of competitiveness. And outside, in my opinion, of the Colorado Avalanche, there has been no team that is completely running away with things. I know the Dallas Stars are only a couple points behind Colorado. And after that, the Capitals have 39 points, and then the Ducks at 37. So the Ducks, 4th best team in hockey, 11 points behind the Colorado Avalanche, and 13 points ahead of the worst team in hockey in the Nashville Predators. So to me, it has been competitive from top to bottom. The Ducks, 4th in the league, 3rd in the Western Conference, and 1st in the Pacific Division standing. So can't ask for anything more. And when you get a win like this, let's talk about our 3 stars of the game. Tonight, it was very, very competitive, as mentioned before. 14 different players hit the stat sheet with at least 1 point, but this is who I'm giving it to tonight. The number 3 star of the game, give me some savvy veteranship from the former New York Ranger, who we will see on the upcoming road trip, Chris Kreider. He has a 2-assist night. There has been something said about this Ducks team so far. It has been young, core, heavy. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat tonight are trying to figure out a name for the young stud first draft pick line and the Senecas and the Carlsons and McTavishes and the Terrys. There's a lot of opportunity to nickname them, but I don't want us to forget the veterans that are on this team. Trouba, Gudas, Kreider, Strome, Vetrano, and even though he's been injured, Mikhail Gramlin is also a veteran in this league as well. So when you put a lot of those guys together, there are things that we might not see behind closed doors, at practice, in the locker room, on the bench. To me, the youngins are not here at this point of the season, 29 games in and still in first place, if it's not for veteranship like Chris Kreider, who got off to a red-hot season to begin the year, at a point with leading the Ducks in goals scored, kind of tapered off a little bit but he's still been an integral part of this Ducks team this year on both sides of the puck. So Chris Kreider, 2 assists, 9, gets our 3rd star of the game. It's a recurring theme. Number 2 star, Beckett Seneca, 19 years old, hair barely growing on the balls, gets a goal, gets an assist. He's Rookie of the Year material. And if the NHL can't notice that, again, 29 games, I get it. It's early. Beckett Seneca is a Rookie of the Year contestant. Name me a better rookie right now. I'm sorry. I'll sit here and I'll compete. For 19 years old, all the questions that went into the season of if he was going to get more than 10 games or get put down to San Diego Gulls in the AHL. He has earned his spot. He is dominating his spot. He is going toe-to-toe with some of the best forwards in the NHL, slicing through opposing defensemen, and he has taken his licks and he's given them right back to opposing teams. He is now, this season, Beckett Seneca's overall numbers this year, as tonight gets the goal and the assist. The goal, his 9th of the year. The assist, his 15th. 24 points. He was already leading rookies coming into tonight with 22 points. Make it 24. I know there's going to be no NHL All-Star game this year or Four Nations face-off because of the Olympic break, but definitely, if there was the old school All-Star game, Carlson's an All-Star. Seneca is an All-Star. Troy Terry is an All-Star. You could make a case in ways Jackson Lacombe is an All-Star. Chris Kreider could be an All-Star. The Ducks have had guys this year that have been so proficient. It has been domineering, and it's been great. So 1 point, 1 assist, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2.9 for Beckett Seneca. And number 1, my favorite player. Lean, mean, fighting machine. Give him the keys to the castle. What is his name? Uncle Leo Carlson, a 2-goal performance, 1 shy of the hat trick. They were trying to get him the puck near the end of the game. He is smooth like silk. He is so dominating. He is anywhere you want to be, passing the puck, scoring the puck, and he does it with freaking ease. Just like Beckett Seneca, there is not enough words to talk about Leo Carlson, and everybody can call me, maybe I'm glazing right now, as the young kids would say, but let's think about it this way. Leo Carlson right now in the NHL, top 10 in points. Top 10 in points. Come on. 16 goals to his credit this season. 16 goals. And if you look at the bigger picture, as you know I always love to do here on the show, let's break it down very easily. A 2-goal performance night, 16 goals, 22 assists, 38 points in 29 games. Love it. Now, break it down deeper into overall league numbers. Number 1, Nate McKinnon of Colorado at 49 points. Macklin Celebrini at 43, Connor McDavid at 42, Connor Bedard at 40, and then right now, tied for 7th in the NHL is Uncle Leo Carlson behind Necas, Martin Necas of Colorado, Mikko Rantanen of Dallas, and Jason Robertson of Dallas. Leo Carlson tied for 7th in the league, and at a time, he was neck and neck with Nate McKinnon of Colorado, and he has been just dominating on all facets of the puck. It's been a sight to see, and Leo Carlson, he's going to compete. He's going to be a top 10 guy all season long. And if you also look at goals scored this year, Nate McKinnon atop of that list at 24 goals, Leo Carlson not far behind at 16 goals, tied for 11th in the NHL. And if he scores 1 more, he'll be jumping from 11th place to 6th place. And he's just behind guys like Connor Bedard, Sidney Crosby, Leon Draisaitl, Kirill Kaprizov, Tom Wilson, Brandon Hagelin, Bo Horvat. A lot of those players the Ducks are going to see on this upcoming road trip: Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a road trip that can galvanize this Anaheim Ducks team, who's been playing a lot of home games of late. So you keep on trucking and doing the right things. Leo Carlsson, #1 star of the game. There was plenty of honorable mentions. And if we're looking at league-wide stats, I'll throw our good friend and co-host of the show, Todd, his favorite player, Scary Troy Terry, who has 23 assists now this year. He is tied for 9th in the NHL. The leader in assists is celebrating from San Jose with 28. So Troy Terry just 5 off of the league mark, and he's in the realm of guys like Connor McDavid, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, Martin Necas, Jack Eichel, Nick Suzuki. These are the guys that have been the perpetual leaders of the NHL. And this is the time that the Ducks, this young core that we're talking about, is coming to fruition, doing the right things, and making marks in the NHL. There is no more excuses that the NHL does not have the Ducks penciled in and saying, hey, this is a legit playoff contending team. And if the Ducks, I know it's only 29 games. The next 29 games is going to say a whole lot, especially this month of December and the month of January that has the Ducks on the road a hell of a lot. The next month and a half is going to be huge between now and the Olympic break, that first week of February, with the final game being February 3rd. So between now and February 3rd, and when that final horn rings before the Olympic break, the Ducks, if they could stay top 3 in the Pacific Division, this team is playoff caliber. And I don't want to beat the drum too much and say, oh, it's a cup caliber team, because you're going to have to go through teams that are seasoned veterans like Dallas, like Colorado, like Vegas. I get it. But for the Ducks to be somewhat ahead on the curve to what we thought they'd be, I'd say the Ducks should be fighting for a wild card bid. And boy, oh boy, I have been wrong so far, and I am happily wrong in that regard. So to do that, I think the Ducks are in a great spot moving forward here this season after a 7-1 win against the Chicago Blackhawks in this game. What we do now after 3 stars of the game, you guys should know how it goes. We picked our 3 stars. Now, who gets the hoser of the game award? Hoser of the game. Oh boy. It goes to the worst player on the ice, or a player we just didn't like who had no effect to the game. And sometimes we can be truthful. Sometimes we may be bitter. And tonight, feeling a little bitter. I'm giving it to freaking Connor Bedard tonight. Even though he had an assist on a ricochet goal off the stick of Villahuso, Connor Bedard in 18 minutes and 50 seconds, the Ducks kept him very quiet, limited Connor Bedard to only 1 shot on goal. So Connor Bedard, courtesy of the Ducks' good defense tonight and a 7-1 thrashing, Connor Bedard gets the hoser of the night in the 7-1 dominating victory against the Chicago Blackhawks. And with those 7 goals, fans at Honda Center got Chick-fil-A, and why not do it one more time? The Ducks goal horn, baby. That's a 7-1 win. A goal in the first, 4 in the second, 2 more in the third. And it sets up the Ducks now for a massive, massive road trip. Starts Tuesday, Pittsburgh. Thursday, New York Islanders. Saturday morning, New Jersey Devils. And then they end the road trip on a back-to-back, which is going to be tough, with the Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. When you look at those 5 teams in the Eastern Conference standings, New York Islanders are 3rd. Pittsburgh is 4th. The Rangers are 7th. The Devils have fallen their way to 11th, and Columbus is 12th. But Columbus may be the worst team we're seeing point-wise. They have 32 points. The Ducks have 37. All 5 of these games are going to be evenly matched. All 5 of these games are going to be competitive. And the first 2 games to get the 2 hardest teams right away with the Penguins and the Islanders, we beat the Islanders at the home opener, and that was great. We haven't seen the Islanders yet this year. We've seen the Devils. We beat the Devils. We have not seen the New York Rangers, so that'll be interesting. And we haven't seen the Columbus Blue Jackets. So 3 of the 5 teams are going to be brand new matchups for the Anaheim Ducks. And that is going to be something that will test the Ducks, I feel, and especially with Villahuso is going to be in net and kind of doing his business while Dostal and Mrazek are still out. The Ducks have a lot to do. They have work to do because Vegas isn't slowing down. The Kings aren't slowing down. And Edmonton, who is a perpetual slow start team, has 31 points, and they're sniffing around at 4th place. And same thing with San Jose at this point right now. And even though Vancouver's at the bottom of the division with 25 points, look at where Calgary, who's in 7th place right now and has 26 points, they were dead in the water, worst team in the league with 10 points about a month and a half ago. And now they've garnered 16 points and have won 8 games in that time span. So it is a completely wide open division, a massive homestand coming up, a road trip, I should say. And I said at the beginning or on Friday after the win against the Capitals, just like the month of November, the Ducks need to go at least 500 or a game over 500. So far to begin this month, they are 3-1. Great start. Absolutely. You have 5-game road trip, 5 at home. You got 6 more road games and 5 more home games to round out the month of December. So in 11 games, I would love to see the Ducks win at least. How about a 6-3-2 stretch? That would give the Ducks 14 points and put us at 51 points going into the brand new year. Tantalizing, right? I would agree. If the Ducks could pull off 6 more wins the rest of the month, I would say that's good. Because when they come home after this road trip, they have Dallas, who's been red hot. Columbus, who they'll see on the road trip. So you'll see Columbus twice in a matter of 4 or 5 days. Then you have the Seattle Kraken, who you haven't seen since opening night. You get 4 days off for Christmas. And then you have the Kings, the Sharks, and Tampa Bay. So the Ducks will have 3 massive Pacific Division games before and right after Christmas. So there's a lot on the line going into the 2026 calendar year and finishing up the final month of 2025. So again, if the Ducks can win 6 of their next 11 to wrap up December and have 50 plus points going into January 1, that is going to be so massive to generate momentum going into a month of January where the Ducks are on the road a hell of a lot. And it's not easy. They go to Washington, Philadelphia, which is going to be a ruckus environment with Trevor Zegras and Cutter Gauthier, a couple of former players playing their former teams yet again. You go to Carolina, who's a rough team, Buffalo, and then you still have games. You have the Canadian swing, the Flames, Oilers, Canucks, Colorado. You got to go back to that dangerous environment again. You got back-to-backs with the Kings and Dallas. January is going to be tough times, and the Ducks pepper in your wins now, balance it out, and get the job done. But I like what the Ducks have done, especially tonight, 53 shots on goal, and they threw everything at the Chicago Blackhawks, who were beaten, battered at the end of a West Coast road trip, and the Ducks did not take it for granted. They throttled the Chicago Blackhawks tonight by the final of 7-1. And this is a night typically we dive in a little bit more to, how the Ducks played the game in the forecheck and the power play. And we'll dive into some of the individual stats here in a moment to just kind of round out the picture. But the goal for me tonight is just to praise the Ducks in a throttling. You needed a throttle. You needed to look great. And you took it to Chicago and you did exactly what you're going to do. So why should I, in that case scenario, pick and parse what the Ducks should and shouldn't do? They have 53 shots on goal to 20. Once again, they win the faceoff battle 51 to 48%. Their power play went 2 for 5 tonight, 40%, while Chicago went 1 for 2. Their one goal was on the power play. It was a ricochet. I'm not going to count it against them. The Ducks only had 4 penalty minutes. Great job. They hit evenly with the Blackhawks. Yes, they had less block shots. They had less giveaways, and they had less takeaways. So either way, Sometimes the stats can be misleading. Some of them could lead right to exactly where you're at. But when you outshoot a Blackhawks team 27-7 in the second period, I like it. I like it. I think the Ducks did a really good job top to bottom to really, I don't want to say finesse this game, because it wasn't finessed. It was dominating. Absolutely. As David comes in and says, Bedard to the Anaheim Ducks. Well, that ship has sailed because Chicago, we lost. Think about it this way, as we joke about Bedard to the Anaheim Ducks. That draft class was stacked. It was great. You know, it was Bedard, Carlson, and Frantelli. Those are the top three guys. And when we got jacked out of the number one spot of the draft after having a franchise worst year, we felt gypped that we didn't get Connor Bedard. And he's talented. I get, even though I gave him the Hoser of the year or Hoser of the game, he's a talented guy. But think of what we got by the NHL not gifting us the number one pick. We got Leo Carlson. Uncle Leo Carlson. Sorry, I think his size and the way he approaches the game is going to be better in the long run than Connor Bedard. Yes, I said it. I think Leo Carlson's going to have a better overall career than Connor Bedard. Will Leo Carlson get the media attention? No. The NHL give attention to a West Coast team over Chicago Blackhawks, the original Six Pinnacle franchise? Please. Leo Carlson is a dude. Ducks need to lock him up ASAP. Give him the bank. Give him the keys to the castle. This is a guy that's going to lead the Anaheim Ducks franchise into the future. He's already doing it now. He's done it the last couple of seasons. By no means is Leo Carlson going anywhere. Get your gear now. Leo Carlson's here to stay. Troy Terry, Seneca, McTavish, Zellweger, all of these guys. And the question's going to be moving forward. The Ducks continue to improve. They continue to build up their stature mark towards the playoffs. When we get to trade deadline on March the 6th, what do the Ducks do? If they got to add, who are they giving away? Or who can they essentially skin from another team without breaking the bank and giving too much away? Is Ryan Strome maybe available? Maybe, because he was a healthy scratch, and maybe a savvy veteran can go somewhere else. To me, don't mess with what ain't broke. And I know Strome hasn't had a great season. I know Vetrano hasn't had a great season. But there is something that can be understated by others of the veteran presence on a team. The Trubas, the Gudas, the Vetrano, the Strome, the Kreider, I'll say Ross Johnson, for example. There's a lot that can be done with this Ducks team. Mikhail Gramlin as well. That could, I think, help a Ducks team in the playoffs that have not been to a playoffs before. Leo, Terry, McTavish, Seneca, all of these young guys have never felt the presence of playoff hockey and how amped up that opportunity is. No one knows what that's like. Kreider knows what it's like. He did it a lot with the New York Rangers. Vetrano did it a lot with the New York Rangers. Even Dostal doesn't know what that playoff atmosphere is like. It's a shocking, jarring experience when you first hit the ice those first few games, and you don't want to get behind, especially if the Ducks find themselves in a matchup against the Kings or the Golden Knights or however the playoffs stack up. If the playoffs began today, who would be the teams in the playoff situation, right? And this is where we have to start looking at if the Ducks want to continue playing at this high of a level. Ducks, Golden Knights, Kings, 1, 2, 3 in the Pacific. Avalanche, Stars, Wild, 1, 2, 3 in the Central. Your two wild card teams, Edmonton and Utah. So, just take it for what it is. Vegas, plenty of playoff experience. Kings, plenty of playoff experience. Colorado, they've won the Cup recently. Dallas, Cup always has been within their reach. Minnesota, scrappy. Edmonton, they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals. Utah, not so much. They're kind of, Phoenix Coyotes really haven't been to the playoffs much. So really it's the Ducks, I was going to say Coyotes again. Ducks, Mammoth, and Wild are the 3 out of the 8 current playoff teams that have the most least playoff experience. You need to garner that playoff experience as you get farther. And that's why I think those savvy veterans are going to be huge moving forward. And there's teams on the cusp of the playoffs that could make a run. Winnipeg, St. Louis, Chicago, San Jose. Again, San Jose's been in our situation of rebuilding, and they're kind of see the fruits of their labor right now. So however it shakes out at the end of the day for the Anaheim Ducks, keep your foot on the gas pedal, keep on scoring goals, get better on defense, and wins like these galvanize a team going on a road trip. We saw how the Ducks responded to that opening road trip, that opening East Coast road trip early on in October, winning, what was it, five of 6, or going, 5-1 or 4-1-1 in October, when they went to places like Chicago, Nashville, Boston, Tampa, Florida. The Ducks went 3-1-1 on that 5-game road trip. If the Ducks could replicate that road trip this upcoming week and a half, and again, they're going to places like the Metropolitan Division in the East Coast, Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. If the Ducks could bare minimum go 3-1-1, just like the East Coast road trip in October, that sends a huge message to everybody in the NHL. On paper, with all of these teams, I think the Ducks should beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they should beat the New York Rangers, who have sucked at home this year. They beat the New Jersey Devils here 4-1. I think it'll be competitive. I think the first 2 games of this road trip are the most intriguing to me. Pittsburgh, a rematch game from the home opener at Honda Center where the Ducks won 4-3. It was an even game from top to bottom. New York Islanders have not seen them this year. To me, that's a feeling out type period, or feel out game, to see how it all rolls out. You know who New Jersey is, and you haven't seen the Rangers and Blue Jackets. It's going to be a battle. I think the start of this road trip, the first 3 games, are much more difficult than the back 2 games. But the Ducks still have to come out, they still have to compete, and they still have to get the job done at the end of the day. But tonight here, folks, on the Anaheim Ducks post-game show with your host, Dominic Lorenz at Catella Chronicles, Ducks beat up the Blackhawks tonight at Honda Center to wrap up the 3-game homestand by the final of 7-1. They get back-to-back wins at home against Washington on Friday, Chicago tonight. They've won 3 of their last 4 games now and get set to head out on a 5-game road trip that begins on Tuesday. You're going to have 5 games in a grand total of 7 days. Ducks better be ready. They got it back-to-back at the end of that road trip. They're going to see a lot of what's going to go on, and this is the time to do it. Our 3 stars of the game, if you're just tuning in to us now, here on the one and only Anaheim Ducks post-game podcast episode. Nobody else does it. We are the only ones here at Halos in the Infield, Todd and myself. We are the ones that come together. So follow us, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, X, Instagram. You can follow us, Catella Chronicles, at Catella_CHRON on Instagram. We are the only post-game show that brings you the coverage, win, lose, for the Ducks this season. Our first year doing Ducks hockey on a full-time basis, and it's been great ever since. Maybe that's the mojo that's getting the Ducks to big wins here so far this season. But our 3 stars of the night, if you're just joining us, Chris Kreider in the 3 spot, Beckett Seneca in the 2, and Leo Carlson in the 1. Ducks get 7 of these. Was buzzing tonight. Big crowd against the Blackhawks, who had a lot of the Blackhawks faithful there. Hoser of the night went to Connor Bedard, just so I could be bitter. But the Ducks, 29 games into this season. 29 games. It's great to finally be in a consistent rhythm with the Anaheim Ducks, and you kind of know what this team is now. First month, you don't know. November was really nice. And December's turning out to be a good month so far for Anaheim. They've picked up big wins when needed. They are 18-10-1 in the regular season, 37 points. We get to sleep tonight again and wake up tomorrow morning in first place in the Pacific Division standings. We're at 37, Vegas in second with 36, and the Kings in third at 33 points. But again, the Ducks' next game Tuesday to kick off the 5-game road trip in Pittsburgh, 4 o'clock puck drop. And we will have the post-game show at some point that night because Todd and I have a football podcast on Tuesday nights on the Unfiltered Sports Podcast. Myself, Todd, our good buddies, Matt, and Randy. We have all the NFL coverage for you from this past week. I got my 49ers shirt on, even though it was a bye week. Niners got a win, 6th spot in the playoff positioning in the Western or NFC. And but that's football. I can enjoy hockey tonight because the Ducks get the win tonight. No doubt about it. Big win for the Ducks. Let's go, Ducks. Ducks fly together. We are in this together as the Ducks faithful. Orange County is the place to be. If you haven't been to a Ducks game, go out, support the team. The crowd is ruckus. Everybody is supporting the Ducks. And this is the time. The Ducks first place in the Pacific Division, and we are loving every single moment. Until Tuesday, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Be happy. Be healthy. Let's go, Ducks. Ducks fly together, and we'll see you as the Ducks start off the road trip on Tuesday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Cheers, guys.